Greetings and welcome to our Thursday night Bobzee hour, episode 5 I believe. I want to start by thanking NR for tuning in and saying hello in the live chat. Anyone else out there wants to say hello, it's always good to know you're there. We'll be getting started very shortly. We're going to begin with a subject that's not in any way relevant to tonight's thumbnail. If you're, I don't know if you could decipher quite what it was on the thumbnail that you were looking at. It's from, it's from, again, once again, I get a lot of inspiration for material from tweets I see. Generally, people believing that what they're seeing in such videos is reality. I'm here to look at it from a different angle, see if they're maybe living in fear about something they shouldn't, or what the actual situation is. And I absolutely welcome your input. Maria Ellender, greetings, good to see you in the chat. Thanks for tuning in this evening. As always, I welcome input, suggestions, although we probably won't go into too much detail on any one subject. I do like to go look deeper at things on my Sunday night stream. I did actually manage a midweek stream this week, one on Tuesday. I'll try and keep that going if I can, each Tuesday, but we'll have to see how it goes. One of my wonderful Patreons, Midnight Scribbler, suggested, or didn't specifically suggest for tonight's stream, but suggested some channels that we could look at, and we are certainly going to take a cursory glance at them, as well as look at the subject Midnight Scribbler suggested. To be honest, the last time I streamed, the big news was Nashville. That was literally dominating the headlines, and despite that being an absolutely insane story, it's been wiped off the front page already by, I think they're talking about the King's coronation now. To be honest, nothing seems to be dominating the headlines for as long as Nicola Bulley did. That seemed to be, and by headlines, the only headlines I really get access to, as I say, are either on Twitter or they're on YouTube. There's a breaking news section that they always seem to put right at the start on the homepage on the YouTube app. And for a long time it was Nicola Bulley, but it's now it seems to be changing a lot more frequently. So, Midnight suggested, oh, by the way, I don't know if you can decipher quite what's going on in that image there on the screen. There is some relevance. It will be brought up in a video. Now, as I said, Midnight suggested a few YouTube channels that we will certainly have a look at. One of which is, let me just get the first one up and we'll have a look. I'm not sure if any of you guys are familiar with him, Christian Prince. He apparently does a lot of debates. Isn't someone I've heard of, so I appreciate Midnight letting me know. Actually, there was another channel, let's bring the display up. Bob of Speaker's Corner, Bob the Builder, Atheists versus Christians. For me, that sounds like it would be an interesting subject. By the way, I will be leaving links to all these videos that we look at in the description of tonight's video, and if you want to check them out for yourself, I will also put them in the live chat. Hang Hang on, let me bring my notepad up. Yeah, Bob the Builder of Speaker's Corner. I've never been to... I don't live particularly close to London. I have to... Hang on. I just have to go on here. There we go. We'll shoot back to it. And look at another one. Christian Prince, as we originally talked about. In fact, I think that's the link I gave you in the chat. I didn't give you Bob the Builder. But some of the subjects they bring up. This guy, Christian Prince, seems to look closer at Islam. Some of these subjects, when I was growing up, I was always led to believe by the mainstream media you can't speak out against Islam or you'll end up like Salman Rushdie. They'll put a price out on your head. Okay, yeah, the second link I'm giving you in the live chat is for Bob the Builder. Hang on, we'll get there in a minute. I guess if we get time we could revisit the story of Nashville, because I know I've seen a few videos on it and it seems to have all the typical hallmarks of the kind of videos that YouTube would rather you didn't look at or call out, as it were. So anything we do approach, we will at least be pretending that we're taking it seriously and not calling it out as a load of rubbish. But for the meantime, we're actually going to start on the subject Islam. It isn't something I've ever specifically covered. I believe, my personal opinion would be, everyday people who are of the Muslim faith are probably well-meaning, decent, everyday folk. As for what goes on in the upper echelons of the organisation, the origins of it, in fact that's something we're going to look at. Who originated, where did Islam originate? Of course we'll look at the official answer, everyone's one-click result of Wikipedia, and see if there's any other suggestions for where he came from and who founded Islam. The story I heard, came from the Roman Catholics. That was one version. I haven't looked into it too closely, but if anything comes up tonight, we'll certainly investigate it. Right, Mike Wood was the other channel, and is this what we're on now? Yeah, this is Mike Wood's channel, Apologetics Roadshow. Mark Zuckerberg leaves atheists speechless. To be honest, I'm not going to play any of these videos, but I do certainly invite you to. I am going to watch them in my own time, but I'm not going to rip off another channel by stealing their content. Ooh. Right. Maria says, yeah, 3 children and 3 adults, 33 teachers, address 666. That is no doubt part of the... Oh, wrong page. Part of the very real story that happened on Tuesday, and by very real I mean the media reported on it, so there's no chance they could be fibbing, is there, or abusing the trust that so many people put in them. No, don't worry guys, I'm sure mainstream media are absolutely legitimate, and you are certainly mad to trust them. I mean, in the right mind if you trust them. So, the origins of Islam. Yes, I've heard a very non-savoury origin. Of course, if anyone's got any, if I suggest anything tonight which is disagreed with by anyone tuning in, I certainly welcome your input and your your corrections, because this is like one of the first times I've really looked at where Islam began, other than hearing, as I say, cursory comments about it was someone from originally a Roman Catholic that began Islam. We will see what the one-click results tell us. Of course, my understanding of Islam is, they follow who they say is the Prophet Muhammad, but of course, that doesn't necessarily give us right. I'm guessing. I'm not sure who these people are gonna call out as the originators. Right, Al-Tabari is the study of the earliest periods of Islamic history is made difficult by lack of sources. This is, of course, Wikipedia's answer. The most important historical source for the origin is the work of Al-Tabari, who is considered an excellent historian by the standards of his time and place. Anyone Wikipedia call an excellent historian is someone I would probably consider very good at very good at misleading, or they'll be right. Let's see the descriptive uses. They all seem to sit. You look for who started Islam and you just get historians. So I'm not getting very far looking. The skeptical method doubts nearly all the material in the traditional sources regarding any possible historical core as too difficult to decipher. I mean, in terms of the books they read, if they read a version of the Torah, as in Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus and Deuteronomy, I personally hold them as accurate historical accounts, and are I mean, the biggest sort of person, the first time I really took much notice of Islam came through, of course, a celebrity, a sports star. It was Muhammad Ali, and that was probably, when did I first look in or hear about Muhammad Ali? He had finished fighting when I was a toddler, more or less, so I never saw him box, but I do remember seeing documentaries about him, which are about as trustworthy as the official narrative is itself. And they suggested that he pushed this, what was some called a cult, the Nation of Islam, they called it, and it seemed very much to be blacks against whites, or at least that was how it was sold to us. Apparently Muhammad Ali said on TV with Parkinson about the white man being the devil. So if that's their belief, then it absolutely differs from the books of Deuteronomy, Genesis, Leviticus and Exodus, none of which say the white man is the devil. Abu Bakr, a senior companion, Marie says it's a Catholic offshoot. Yeah, that's interesting, because when you look at the Catholic belief system, again, it's got absolutely nothing to do with biblical stories. They worship the Virgin Mary as being Mother of God, try and find anything in the Holy Scriptures where we're told God has a mother. Of course, some would say mother of Jesus, therefore mother of God, but they're full of deities. And I've even heard of, like, have you heard of the Black Pope or something? Which I believe is maybe a statue. Again, we could look at that. That might be an easier thing to look into for me than than Islam. Talking about Muhammad Ali, though, it was one of the first times I ever saw a person's life story and thought, that's almost like a perfectly made for TV story. It couldn't be more of a perfect fairy tale if they tried. But I wasn't quite at the point of believing that the mainstream would fabricate the life of a sports star. Although now I think very differently, of course. But yeah, again, by no means a founder, but yeah, again, a link to encouraging racial divide. And again, I believe wasn't Malcolm X part of the Nation of Islam? I could be way off on this. Perhaps I'm thinking of someone else. Perhaps it's someone else who changed their surname to X. But yeah, this guy supposedly assassinated. Of course, doing all the one-eyed gesture. What is all this about pointing at his left eye? Yeah, and am I right in thinking... Oh, hang on, bear with me 1 second. Greetings in the live chat to KG. Thanks for tuning in this evening. Going back to Muhammad Ali, apparently there was a lot of controversy after he won the world title, and people saying it was a setup, and this was because, who did he beat? I can't even think of the guy's name. Sonny Liston? No. Yeah, I think it was Sonny Liston, and they said that he went down after a knockout punch that didn't... They called it like the invisible punch, which back then when I first heard about it, I thought, wow, Muhammad Ali must have been fast, but let's see, it may get us taken down for copyright. Knocks out. So perhaps if we try playing it ridiculously slow and see if we can... Right, we're not going to play any audio, or maybe a little bit, because obviously although you would think by now this footage would be in the public domain. We're not going to go too far off the subject of Islam, but I will look at absolutely terrible image quality. This isn't even Sonny Liston, is it? Right. Are we going to see it? Nope, nothing to do with... Oh, yeah, it is. Right. By all accounts, the punch... it was a ridiculously pathetic punch, and... I don't know, let's see it. Yeah, it's obviously a terrible angle. But yeah, it didn't look like he touched him at all, although the cameras were perfectly placed to find that one. Was the story of Muhammad Ali just a something to... Now, yeah, if you read the story of Muhammad Ali, apparently at the time, people were absolutely, despised him because he became a Muslim. And, yeah, it does seem, again, going back to Salman Rushdie, he brought out a book called The Satanic Verses, and because of it, they supposedly put a hit out on him. He was repeatedly stabbed on stage on Friday in front of a New York audience. Okay, it sounds like he's been attacked. All I remember was... Let's see, what does this tell us? Maria says the Black Pope has nothing to do with racial divide. The black nobility is an elitist face of Satan. Yeah, when I mentioned the Black Pope, I didn't actually mean it in any reference to race. As you say, I believe it. The version I heard was that it is a satanic statue, I believe, and anything that are claiming they're serving God, or doesn't the Pope claim to be God's voice, mouthpiece on earth? Well, if they're telling him to, based on some of the practices that it is at the very least alleged the Catholic Church take part in, then I have no idea how anyone could possibly think they are following the Torah, as it were. Right. Satanic Verses, there we are. The novel Shame, based on a complementary politics in Pakistan, was popular, but Rushdie's fourth novel, The Satanic Verses, encountered a different reception. Some of the adventures in this book depict a character modelled on the Prophet Muhammad, and portray both him and his transcription of the Quran in a similar manner. That after the novel's publication drew criticism from the community leaders in Britain, who denounced the novel as blasphemous. Public demonstrations about the book spread into Pakistan, and on the 14th of February, the spiritual leader Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini publicly condemned the book and issued a fatwa, legal opinion, against Rushdie. A bounty was offered to anyone who would execute him. He went into hiding under the protection of Scotland Yard, and although occasionally emerged unexpectedly, he was always giving police interviews. The press certainly knew how to get hold of Salman Rushdie. Sometimes in other countries he was compelled to restrict his movements. More suggestions. Now, lately, a lot of take the word terror attack. What is it? It's not what you'd call an oxymoron, because an oxymoron would be something like friendly fire, but it's almost like a redundant to put the word terror before the word attack. Well, yeah, of course, all attacks are full of terror, but they seem to have somehow been with a political motive, makes it a terror attack. Define terror attack. A terror attack is a surprise attack involving the calculated use of violence against citizens. So pretty much every single violent attack, I think they're suggesting it's, a large number of people. The motive behind such an attack will most likely be religious or political. Now, quite often, religion gets brought in, is linked to these terror attacks. And it was back in 2017 when I first started my Obbylines channel, which turned into Bobzee after getting deleted, that I it was being pushed that a certain pocket of Muslims were carrying out attacks in public venues, concerts, or capitals, people driving vans through like Christmas markets, all horrible stuff like that. Some wonderful YouTubers have scrutinized a lot of these attacks back in prior to 2017. Personally, I began with the London Borough attack, which I believe was, I know a lot of them took place on the 22nd of the month. And yeah, if you are, greetings to Angela Tate, thanks for tuning in, who says Rushdie attack is a total Mandela effect for me. This is the first I heard of it. When did he get attacked? I don't know if they're suggesting it happened recently. And Maria mentions the Black Pope being duality, checkerboard, Masons, selling souls. I don't believe it. In fact, I would be curious to look at the Black Pope, since we have mentioned it. Superior General of the Society of Jesus. Who is Black Pope and what is his role in the Vatican? This comes from Quora, so not too far from Wikipedia, I guess. Right, I don't know if you can see this small writing. I'll try and zoom in for you. The Superior General of the Jesuit Order is unofficially referred to as the Black Pope. It's a reference to the fact that, unlike the Pope who wears white, the Superior General, being an ordinary priest, wears black. Yeah, that is very Masonic and checkerboardy, you're right. The Jesuits are regarded as a powerful force within the church, and in consequence, very powerful, arguably one of the most powerful, despite not being a cardinal or even a bishop. He does swing a lot of weight. Oh, I totally misunderstood it. I don't know if I thought it was some sort of statue they had hidden away somewhere. Yeah, Vatican City, what a creepy place that sounds like. NR says, what about the Westminster attacks? Absolutely. Again, that was something linked to Muslims. Yeah, because there were two. There was one in Borough Market, which took place, I think it was either a Friday or a Saturday evening. And there was also one on a bridge, which took place, I think, on a Monday morning or a Tuesday morning. The 22nd of March, that one was. And then there was the one where Roy Larner claimed he fought off attackers. I don't think... Oh, yeah, Westminster was the bridge. You're absolutely right. 23rd of March. Motives. Let's look at the official narrative on it. A terror attack took place outside of the Palace of Westminster. Khalid Massoud, a 52-year-old Briton, drove a car into pedestrians on the pavement along... yeah, there was also Borough Market Borough Market attack as well, which took place in London, injuring 50 people. He was shot by an armed police officer. I bet he had a manifesto written up, very much like, yeah, police, what happened in Nashville, apparently the trans person that carried out the shooting of 3 adults and 3 children had a manifesto, so the police were totally justified, and they found it within a day of the attack happening. It all seems to happen so quickly. Right, do we get... And this, of course, they did this threat level where they could convince everyone, very similar to, say, a cold or a pandemic. They tell us there's a high likelihood of that you're going to get ill, that you're going to be blown up by a terror attack, or maybe one day they'll say there's a high likelihood that you'll get ill from being out in the sun too much because of climate change. Maria says the Pope is now deceased and has apparently been hospitalised. And NR asks, do I think the Westminster Bridge attack, Khalid Masood, was real? I believe he looked fake as all crap, didn't he? Let's have a look for an image of him. Again, I once did a hoax event checklist. I think there's a live stream where we covered it. I think we updated it not that long ago. Now, obviously, I would never suggest anything the mainstream report is a hoax. By the way, every single person on this bridge is a mannequin. And that's... Right, I believe that's him there. Oh, did he die or did he stand trial? Because they've got him... Let's have a look for him. Khalid Masood. Here we go. Absolutely terrible quality image as always. There is better pictures of the guy. I mean... Oh, the Daily Mail have stamped their ownership of this image. Right, so as for, is this a real person? Who knows? It looks like the first image the press went with was this grainy, rubbish picture. Yeah, all the things to look out for in a event that might not be as presented. I could find my hoax event. Anyway, yeah, you always see pedestrians performing first aid. Let's see, let's look at this video. Again, large crowds of people, colour coding, lots of people wearing black or white, and the odd person, a director, wearing red. Also blue means that they have some important role.
As people fled in panic.
Oh, there's your... I don't know if that's a director, but whenever they show these like survivors running away, or riots, they always seem to colour code the people. We're not seeing anything here, are we? Just a big crowd of people ran. This woman probably in front of a green screen. In fact, these images here of the... I don't know how well you can see that. Like, she's in perfect focus. Now, just because they did a report in front of a green screen doesn't automatically make it fake. By the way, they got the same red colour bag and red colour top. Is there any relevance to that? I'm not sure. But yeah, look at him glitching out. That's where they're doing videos at the wrong frame rate. So the footage of this guy walking past was, say, done in 24 frames per second, while the police officers are done in the native, 30 frames, and it just doesn't gel well, and that's why you get problems like this, because the frames aren't lining up. As we see him walk past, and the cars, of course, whereas this is a set, probably a Yeah, and I believe all the photographs that the press used were mostly taken by one person. So to answer your question, no. I doubt it. I see they did an investigation into him and he was lawfully killed. Right, we're going to go back to Salman Rushdie and see about this attack, because, again, it wasn't something I was... When you say it's a Mandela's, it's something that happened, supposedly happened ages ago. Oh, 2022. After he was stabbed on stage. Yeah, by being on stage, that is just perfect, really, because it probably was acted, I would guess. NR asks, what about the Manchester Arena bomber, Salman Abedi? Again, you can predict something about all the people that seem to do this. You'll get an absolute terrible picture of them used in the press. And that is exactly what we got with 22-year-old Salman, who killed 22 people on the 22nd of May, I believe. Or was it June? In 2017, one of the victims got 22 pieces of shrapnel and had to have 22 pieces of shrapnel removed. I'm sure there were many other... In fact, some survivors of the attack supposedly got 22s tattooed on them. Yeah, as for Salman getting attacked, I don't keep up with the news enough to say whether it was reported or not, or whether this is just something that is quite recent. He lost an eye, the One Eye Club, I see. Oh, is that meant to be Salman Rushdie? No way. Surely not. He looks nothing like the guy. Even event moderator recounts stabbing. What's an event moderator, do you think? Oh, the person who moderated his time on stage. This isn't going to play for some reason, so my apologies. Well, it might play if we give it a minute. Come on. Oh, maybe it's because it's CNN. I'm sure we could find another video of him. Right, things seem to be slowing down a little bit. And I have no idea why. Hang on. Okay, here's Salman. Yeah, blinded in the right eye, of course. Is this when he was on stage and the attack supposedly happened?
In an interview published on Monday ahead of the release of his new novel...
Oh, they missed the best bit by the look of it. As in...
Last year, British author Salman Rushdie was assaulted in a vicious knife attack. In an interview published on Monday ahead of the release of his new novel, Victory...
What a great advert for this guy's book. He's just released a new novel and he gets stabbed.
He said that he finds it very difficult.
Just like having a, what was it called, a fatwa or something that Muslim people put out on a political opinion, or they put a price out on someone's head for blasphemy. But yeah, One Eye. I'm not sure what the the date of this actually. Right, when we want let's go to news if we can. Apparently Sir Salman Rushdie and Heartstopper creator to be honoured with medals at a major book event. Stabbed twice in the neck 1 day ago. Has he been stabbed again? Surely not. Right, when's this story from? 8 months ago. Okay, again, they're not giving us an exact date of this, which is a bit annoying. 22nd, 13th of August by the look of it. Stabbed in the neck twice and ended up losing his eyesight. Yeah, Angela asks why weren't the truthers all over this Rushdie attack? To be honest, like you say, it's the first I've heard of it. I'm not sure how much cover it got originally, but it is certainly something I would have, maybe I would have looked at it. Right, let's see if we can find anything out about the attacker. Who was asking? NR was asking, like, what do I think about some of the people supposedly carrying out attacks? And of course, we can't question Sky News. They have trust that cannot be doubted. But not only do I not buy the attackers, I don't buy the survivors or the witnesses. In fact, it is often the witnesses that give the game away. Right, I want to find out the name of the person that attacked him, just to see if there's any of the usual coincidences, but for some reason we're not getting any loading power at the moment. I'll just check my stream is still working. Yep, says he's got good strength. Right. He was attacked by an American Muslim at a literary event in the summer, losing an eye and the use in one hand. And do they name the attacker? He was assaulted by Hadi Matar. 24-year-old Shiite Muslim. Let's just check out the numerology calculator. 39 in Pythagorean and 23 in Chaldean. The 24-year-old this was. Let's see, Matar. A 12 and 17. And Hadi is a 22. So, yep, you've got the usual numbers that seem to pop up with this one. What about Salman himself, actually? Let's make sure I spell the name right. Salman is 15, 17... is a 43. What about Rushdie? A 26 and a 39. So, yeah, the attack came 33 years after Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini called on Muslims to assassinate Rushdie. 33. They get him in every single time. Well, they often come in. So I haven't seen any footage of it. But yeah, there's one of your giveaways. Is numbers enough for you to say, oh well, that automatically makes it right, let's see if we can find a video of the attack. We are going to be winding up in about the next 15 minutes or so. Let me see. Vids, that's what we want. The Daily Telegraph seem to have the best... Oh, I'll mute that a minute. Again, do we actually see anything, or is it just the aftermath? Again, everyone just happens to be wearing black, except for one guy in pink. Alright, now, all these people kind of seeming to be almost kitted out identically. They're both wearing sandals, both wearing shorts, both wearing t-shirts. Both came on stage at exactly the same time. This, of course, would be a the best type of publicity for this guy's new book. And here is the attacker wearing, I don't know, I'm not sure if that's his top's being pulled up. This was the 24-year-old that knifed Salman Rushdie 33 years after the original death, bounty was put out. Very strange. One thing you'll notice, we didn't see anywhere there were any actual paramedics or any doctors. Of course, as we said in the hoax event checklist, while what seemed to be members of the responsible people who have got the things around their neck, all standing back, letting what I believe is spectators, members of the crowd, just come up and start not only contaminating a crime scene. I guess they want us to believe they're stopping an attack. If the image quality was better, but unfortunately this is as good as it gets. I would like to know what that says on the back of that guy's t-shirt. He must be the official photographer. Yeah, audience members scrambled to tackle the suspected knife man. No, there's no suspect about it. We've apparently got film. We've got it on film. They always have to put things like knife man, like suspected, or they have to put it in inverted commas. Finally, the police are coming in. Where were they 5 minutes ago? I see Maria is retracting some of her messages. Fair enough, but yeah, a lot of them I'm not reading, so my apologies. Maria says, I think I got my terrapin attacks mixed up. Oh, I wasn't aware of it. Oh, I gotcha. Terrapin, I'm with you. Maria says a convicted murderer out on a day release saves everybody by attacking the terrorist with a whalebone. Is that what happened? That is pretty out there. Angela says her personal default is always fake and until proven real. That would be not a bad idea. I mean, why should you trust these? Just because they've cobbled together a couple of seconds of video footage. These organisations that have access to actors and cameras, special effects, they can do it all pretty much. So yeah, that would be my first look at the Salman Rushdie attack, and probably about as far as we're going to go with that. Going back to the origins of Islam, if anyone has any links or information that they think we might be interested in. We looked at a few channels. We didn't look closely actually at them, but who was it? Christian Prince was one on the subject. Again, I will put links to these in. Do you know what? I haven't even touched on the subject that we found that is in the thumbnail. So before we do finish up this evening, we will certainly do that. Again, I mentioned this guy, Carl Vernon, the other week. He's pretty big on YouTube, and again has put out a video of foreigners looking scary. He says, imagine the lawsuits in this pandy-ass country, suggesting that here, I'm not sure where it's from, it's supposedly police training going on. And at first glance, you might think, my goodness, what a evil, cruel police training regime. You know how you see like drill sergeants screaming at cadets and whatnot and trying to break them? Here's this evil police officer. But this is not as it seems, this video. As this guy walks along and letting 3 of the people that he's beaten up just film him. Obviously a 4th one as well, taking this video. You'll see he can't keep it up. He's trying to look desperately serious and desperately like a tough drill sergeant. That guy with his... Oh, hang on. What you do now start seeing is those that might just watch the first 20 seconds of the clip might think, you know, well, what? That's why the police are so horrible over there. Yeah, as I said, this video is not what it seems. They start struggling to keep up the pretense. He obviously starts getting tired out as well. Right. He's doing a good job. He sat down on the floor, acting all injured. Nice one. He must have knocked the wind out of you. And then, as we keep going, yeah, we will... Actually, perhaps I will just skip back. Let's skip forward. Because it's more at the end where it starts. Big smile on this guy's face. Here you can see he is laughing as he does this, as is everyone he's approaching. If you ever watched WWE wrestling, it is an example of how, there we go, all these people are backing off laughing. He can't keep a straight face anymore. But for those that just watched the first 20 seconds, you may think this is a nasty practice. Again, big smile, sits down on his own. Who knows what's going on, but a massive smile on this guy's face. He even playfully fights back. Yeah, maybe he's tripping some of them over, this person who got taken down. And this is where you notice every single person in this audience, in this group, are laughing. None of them are taking it seriously. Perhaps they are proper police, you know, perhaps this is proper police training. But it isn't as scary as the first 20 seconds of the video. See, he's laughing. Can't keep a straight face. He barely hit him in that one. Again, none of these attacks have any follow through. Good day's work, guys. Everyone got that on film? Okay, I will of course leave a link to this tweet. And in fact, before we leave, I am gonna looks like fun. Looks like fun and games. Everyone is laughing by the end of it. Of course, yeah. Okay, let me have a look at the chat before we finish. Maria says the Westminster Bridge. Yeah, there were so many of them around that time. You had obviously you had Manchester Arena, you had the London Bridge, Westminster Bridge, then you had a London Bridge attack as well. Let's have a look at that one. I mean, we've probably had more since... Oh, which one was London Bridge? There was one where all the injured people were being taken to a hotel rather than the 2 hospitals around the place. Yeah, that was the one with all the mannequins. Westminster Bridge, or is that the same? Right, Borough Market, of course. Another one where photographers were out on force and civilians were carrying out first aid. People... Yeah, there was some wonderful interviews. Yeah, some people did some really good work on these, and my opinion is, now that YouTube have removed most of them, the best place to find a lot of them are 153 News. If you're not familiar with that, there's a link to my 153 News channel in the description. There are some absolute classics over there. Okay, greetings to Mudlark Digging Up the Thames. Thanks for tuning in. You are actually tuning in just as we're about to sign out for the evening, I guess. I will, of course, be back on Sunday. Yeah, have I missed any? Of course, you've had these attacks all over the world. If I put... What was that one in France where some people who wrote a comic... I can't even remember the name of the... Paris comic attack. I can't even remember what it was called now. But some people in Charlie Hebdo, that was it. This was back in 2015. In fact, this must have been around the time where I started realising it was, you know, not as it seems. 2 people have been stabbed and seriously hurt in Paris. At the satirical magazine Charlie Hebdo, 2 suspects have been arrested. And I remember actually back in 2017 they had police like this carrying weapons around. Personally, I doubt they are even real guns or have any ammunition in them. But I do remember you would see in the streets armed police officers, what was supposed to be. Brussels Market, was it? Attack. Oh, I can't spell. Right, oh, Brussels bombings. That's not the one I'm thinking of, but 22nd of March, again, get their numbers in. 2016, so a year and a day before the London Borough Market. No, sorry, Westminster Bridge. 2 coordinated attacks in Brussels were carried out by the Islamic State. 2 suicide bombers. That was detonated bombs at the Brussels airport. Nowadays, of course, you get people such as, I mean, we had Jehovah's Witnesses being attacked the other week. We get Christians attacking Muslim or mosques and stuff, filming it. Yeah, it's a lot more... yeah, you don't have to be a Muslim to carry out a terror attack, put it that way. Mudlark says, sorry, you're on the phone. No problem. I totally understand. Of course, if you're not able to, not specifically you, Mudlark, but anyone in general, not able to catch catch us live, you can of course skip back to the beginning and enjoy the hour. Yeah, I could carry on, I could look at these all evening, but this is the Bobzee hour, meaning that we are going to have to wind up here. Right, if I go on to BBC News, just out of interest, see what the main headlines are, which we could end up covering next week. Oh, brave ex-partner helped convict Olivia's killer. I'm not sure what that story is about. Also stuff about Prince Harry's going on constantly. Lily Savage dying got an awful lot of media attention. Again, every single media outlet covered that one. What does that mean exactly? Who knows? Yeah, another place I get a lot of inspiration is just open up a new tab on here, and yeah, if McCann works out unborn baby's gender. Okay, I thought it was going to be about her doing a workout while pregnant, so I got that wrong. But yeah, does that look like a woman to you? Seriously? Perhaps, maybe these are some of the things we'll be looking at on Sunday. Before then, of course, we do have a Sabbath day, and I personally strongly recommend observing the Sabbath day. It is a wonderful way of structuring your week, shutting down Friday, sundown, starting up again Saturday, sundown. Again, Midnight Scribbler, who I mentioned earlier, did ask if I could show him suggest a video where they talk about observing the Sabbath, and I did mention Jason Boss, but I also will at some point make a video about why I observe the Sabbath day. Okay, but as I say, I do highly recommend the observance of that particular day of rest. Okay, I'm going to say my sincere thanks to Maria Ellender, Mudluck Digging Up the Thames, Angela Tate, NR, and that was everyone in the live chat tonight. If anyone wants to say hi before we finish, you are most welcome. Yeah, and if anyone knows anything specifically about the origins of Islam, I would be interested to hear them. Just read the chat before we finish. Maria says, Muslims believe that Ishmael, the son of Hagar, was the first son of Abraham. Isaac was born to Sarah, and God asked him to sacrifice him. Okay, yeah. Muslims believe it was Ishmael born to Hagar, the first son. Lily was savaged by the safe and effective. Is that the story, by the way, about Lily Savage? I haven't heard a cause of death yet, but I wouldn't be surprised if he died suddenly. But yeah, safe and effective all the way. Absolutely. You cannot go wrong with safe and effective. Especially if you believe in the science. Just believe the science. That's all you got to do and you'll be absolutely fine. Terrible advice. Okay, guys, I'm going to play out with our play out video. And before we do, actually, I would just like to invite anyone who enjoyed the stream to hit the thumbs up button before you finish. And there is also a QR code in the description to where you can support me over on Patreon. I would like to thank Linda Mack, Midnight Scribbler, for following me over on Patreon. Also Nathan Oakley and Skeptic936 for their support of this channel. Okay, I think that is where we're going to leave it. I hope you can join us on Sunday, same time as always. It will be excuse me, didn't hit the cough button. Yeah, we'll be back on Sunday with what I'm now going to be calling my longest stream on Sundays, called Total Mainstream Annihilation, TMA. I may give it a title. Basically, the names of my streams are Sunday night, total mainstream annihilation. Hopefully either Tuesday or Wednesday morning will be the Bobzee show, and Thursday nights will be the Bobzee hour. Yeah, I would massively appreciate you guys for tuning in to any of them, and I will be back with you on Sunday. Okay, as I say, yeah, Maria wishes us the Sabbath is a blessing. Absolutely, I've seen it referred to as a people suggesting that Jesus did away with a day of rest, and we no longer should observe it. But it is, people talk about it like a hindrance, I have to stop making money for a day, or I have to stop going out buying and selling. Believe me, my personal experience, it is the way to go. Okay, with that, I'm going to thank you all for tuning in, and look forward to hoping you can catch us up on Sunday. Okay, have a great weekend, particularly the Sabbath day, and I will be back very soon. Alright, good night and take care.